This program is brought to you by the following proud sponsors. The Alltech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns. And by the voice of your brand, engaging your audience, clients, and employees with a signature voice that is uniquely ageless and versatile, the perfect choice for practically any project. And by Paulson Manufacturing, saving the eyes and lives of workers and first responders by manufacturing the highest quality and most reliable safety protective gear in the world. And by StudioCast Pros, engaging your audience, elevating your brand, and enhancing your profits with professional quality e-learning, webcasts, and podcasts that stand out from the competition.
Welcome to California CEO. I'm Jeff Allen. We're all more likely to hear about startup businesses that pop up in the community, and then if they become successful domestically, the owners slowly test the international markets with the goal of full global expansion. Well, on this edition of California CEO, we're going to talk to the owner of some aggressive businesses based in Murrieta, who has found tremendous success marketing his two companies' unique services globally right out of the gate. His name is David Bertolini. He is CEO of NOVOHIT and co-founder of hotelRSV. He is also project leader of CoHive Software Incubator in Murrieta and sits on the international board of the Murrieta Innovation Center. David Bertolini, welcome to California CEO. It's good to have you.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me.
You are involved in so many different things, and we touched on a couple of them, NOVOHIT and CoHive. And I'm not exactly certain where we should start, but what I'd like to probably know, and I think a good icebreaker, David, is to kind of explain how you got that Murrieta accent of yours.
I came to Murrieta in 2009. I was doing my thesis for the company that I now work, and I am a CEO now. And it was just pretty much by chance, okay, if I can put it that way, but it was also by will. I've lived in Brazil, Chile, Venezuela, Mexico, Italy, and before coming here, I was living in Italy. That's where I was studying. I'm a computer engineer. And just like I said, the United States is where I want to go. I had the opportunity to do my thesis, and the company happened to be in Murrieta. So I just landed here. And actually, they were in Temecula before moving to Murrieta. Moving to Murrieta was one of my projects. So that's how I ended up here.
Let's kind of now focus on the business or businesses, because as I'd mentioned, you're involved in a couple of different things. Yeah. Tell us where the genesis all began for your companies. NOVOHIT, and then you have another business, hotelRSV. How did those get their start? And then we'll talk a little bit about what each is.
Okay, so NOVOHIT started as another name called Serpa Hotel in 87 or 86. That was a result of the investment of an Italian investor and a Chilean investor in Venezuela, go figure. Mm-hmm. Then after that, our CEO was working, was a regional manager for Olivetti, which is an Italian company that made typewriters and computers. Mm-hmm. Actually, they're more famous for the typewriters, but they actually did computers, and they did them pretty good before they went bankrupt, pretty much like every Italian company that is not bought by the government at some point. So when that happened, our CEO moved to Mexico to open markets to one of the software products of Olivetti. Olivetti went off the market, and he stayed with several of those licenses, and he was already starting his own software company. His software company started as a inventory warehouse management software for a German company called Vela. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, international has always been part of the blood of the company. Vela got bought, and with that, with the software licensing, Money after Vela, that software became a bigger thing other than warehouse management. It became something called an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. So accounting, banking, HR. And on 99, in the midst of the dot-com era, our CEO decided to also migrate to web technologies, to the open web technologies. So pretty much what today runs the whole internet. And that developed into a new product because it was a different platform, different way of doing things. Okay, now you had instead of the keyboard on a blue screen, now you had the mouse and you have a web browser. So pretty much what today we're used to, but in '99 that was not very common. And that developed into a software for hotels because it happened by chance, I would say, that most of our clients in that moment were hotels. And so we decided to build on top of the accounting system and ERP something called a PMS, a property management system. So everything that a hotel needs to manage their hotel. Because hotels have restaurants, we developed a POS system on top of that. And everything's still web-based, Linux-based. We don't do anything on other platforms that is not Linux. And on top of that, because we work with hotels, we build a booking engine. That's where more or less I kicked in at some point.
And that is hotelRSV.
That is hotelRSV.
And so NOVOHIT really came first. It was kind of it kind of spawned
Yes.
hotelRSV
Yes.
After some time. That's, you're talking about really two industries that are very, very competitive, and they've become more, it seems, in the last 5 to 10 years. And just when you think that you've stumbled across a website or a service that I, as a consumer, can use and rely on and think this is the greatest thing since sliced toast, in 5 or 6 months, someone else comes along with a better idea. So I would imagine that the one thing that you're always thinking about is how to kind of keep ahead, to stay one step ahead of the competition. So let's talk about it a little bit. When you first came up with the idea for NOVOHIT and working with your associates and your team members, was there a void in the industry that you guys were trying to fill, or were you just simply trying to do something better than somebody else?
So I'm gonna respond that answer in two different ways because it's both. NOVOHIT, we are filling a void, and the void is integration. If you think of your average 5-star hotel with at least $120 average rate night, which is our market, they use at least 3 to 4 softwares. Some for accounting, some for the front office, some from the POS. On top of those 3 or 4 softwares, they have something called the middleware. So the things that make those softwares talk to each other. Got it. Because some of those softwares are legacy systems, so they were very old, they have to put another software on top of them if they want to do a mobile app for something else. Say a mobile app to let their users make a reservation online. So if you start summing all those parts, you have 5 or 6 different softwares from 5 or 6 different providers, which their business, it's selling software to other people, not only to that specific hotel. So there are several problems that the hotel meets right there. First of all, the data integration is not natural. They have to hire someone else to make those conversations. Because someone else works for other companies, then that is not their only client. So they have to take care of other integrations of other clients. If you add up all these, it costs a lot of money to the hotels, either because they have to pay for all these integrations and all those licenses, or because when they don't do that, they're losing information, real-time information that's absolutely valuable when you talk about inventory, when you talk about warehouse management, when you talk about accounting. If all those numbers, all those data gets lost in translation, or you just have to retype it again from one computer or one system to the other, that's a big problem. Because when your accountant actually becomes a typer, then he's not an accountant anymore. He's not using his time to analyze the data. He's using his time to transmit the data from here to there, and then because he's so tired of doing that, he just has to analyze it, and the analysis is not going to be good. The analysis is not going to be good. So that's one of the voids we feel with NOVOHIT, because NOVOHIT pretty much integrates 80% or 85, actually 90% of the hotel. The only thing we don't do is maintenance, But when it comes to HR, banking, electronic invoice, which is a subject if you want to ask me later, I can explain you what electronic invoice really is, not the US version, but the European and the Latin American version. Electronic invoicing, electronic accounting, POS system, back office, front office, housekeeping.
So tell us, though, now about your plans to kind of market and promote more aggressively in the United States as far as American clients are concerned, and how is that going for you?
Okay, so let me explain you why we came to the US first. We came to the US because we wanted to serve better our Latin American market. Okay, the infrastructure in the US, it's way better. Most of our servers are here. In the technical sense, there are several things that the US helps us to deliver better to the Latin American market. That was the first intention. Mm-hmm. And after a few years, which was part of the business plan, we said, okay, so let's now analyze the US market. We had a couple of US clients. We have a couple of US clients based on Washington State. And we said, okay, so why don't we now that we have stabilized the migration of the HQs to the United States, now let's evaluate how our product is up to the task for the US market. And that's where hotelRSV kicks in. And getting back your previous question of hotelRSV, does it fills a void or it just makes it better? And the answer is it makes it better, whatever product is on the market. And my question to you would be, have you ever went to tripadvisor.com to make any travel arrangements or hotel arrangements during your past experience?
Yes, a couple of times I've used TripAdvisor to do some research,
okay,
check some prices, and also maybe to some reviews of some of the hotels.
So some of the reviews and those prices that you're able to get from hotels, we provide. And what that does, it allows the hotel to push real-time pricing and real-time availability for you users, so that you users can actually book from TripAdvisor, but the actual booking technology is provided by us.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And
hotelRSV is essentially working in the background.
In the background,
okay,
exactly. It also works in the foreground because we also have a booking engine on Facebook and a booking engine for Google. And how all that works, it's that the idea is that we take more customers directly to the hotel channels without paying commissions. And if there are any viewers on the hotel industry that understand that commissions and the cost of distribution, the cost of actually making reservations, it's very high in the hotel industry. It goes up to 20, 25, 30% depending on the agreements that you have with other distributors like Booking.com, Expedia.com. The cost for hotels of people booking in those channels are super expensive. And what we're able to do is drive those reservations through other channels way more cheap with the same reach and be able to pass all those savings to the hotels.
David, let's kind of circle back just a little bit and let's talk about your relationship with the city of Murrieta, because we have found out in the past that the city is very business friendly, and particularly those companies that are involved in high-tech development, software development, and businesses such as yours. But what was it about the city really, and what is it about the city that allowed you to come in and get the help and the resources that you were looking for?
So whatever I was expecting, it went beyond expectations. Before coming to Murrieta, we were in another Southern California city, and we decided to purchase a flex space back right after the crisis. And the place was quite beautiful. We had no neighbors, so it made it even better. You know, there were no parking problems and these kind of stuff. And when we had this gigantic flex space, we said, okay, so let's do some architecture modifications to make this become a sort of a co-working incubator, even if the word incubator didn't exist in my vocabulary in that was 2009, 2010. And let's do something with this space so that we can bring other companies in our sector and we can all collaborate together because we don't have that much employees. And this space was quite big. The thing is that when we got the architects with us and we started doing the planning and we already had the plans, so we submitted these plans to the city, and it was just taking too long for something that was convenient for everyone. One of the problems, for example, was we were going to be taking too much parking space because of the ratio of square foot per employee per parking space. Mm-hmm. And the point is that, first of all, the lot was empty. And I understand eventually the economy was going to come back and those spots were going to be filled. But the bottom line is that we were creating a space for technology, which is very important to any city that actually wants to go that way. Apparently, that was not their intention, and it took more or less a year for them to give us the permits. In the meantime, I had to travel to Brazil and to Chile for business purposes. When I come back and we had the permits, it turns out that the economy had bounced back, and our neighbors were a gym, a t-shirt company, and an energy drink company with rally cars.
Okay.
And we were a software company. And if we wanted to build kind of a co-working space for software, having those neighbors and the trucks coming up and down, and the rally cars and the gym and the sound of that was not the place to be. So we chose to move, and the best place that we found was in Murrieta. And everything was so smooth. And as soon as we closed escrow, the next day we got our business license. I went to the business development center. The next day I get called by the Chamber of Commerce, which hasn't happened in the other city. Mm-hmm. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and immediately the next day, so 3 days after closing escrow, I get invited to coffee with the city, which is something that was very attractive because I've never seen that before. I don't know if it's because I've never looked in the right place, but I got invited to that, and that was good because I sometimes you don't even know where to look at. So when you get invited, you go. I was very interested in this, and that's where I meet Bruce Coleman and Rick Gibbs, and they were talking about several things, and amongst those things, they were talking on doing an incubator to develop technologies and software and high-tech companies in Murrieta. Honestly, that happened a year ago, so that's what I think I heard. And then they say, does somebody wants to help? And that's what I think I heard too, so I just raised my hand. And of course they said that, but I said, guys, we just moved to Murrieta. We have an office space that's plug and play ready. There's no architectural things to do. And it happens that we had a project for a couple of years to actually help the community building something like an incubator. By then, I already had that word on my vocabulary. And the reason is because we're a software company. Our assets are human resources, are highly specialized human resources that know how to code and how to code good and how to do testing and cybersecurity, because that's our product. Right. We don't have inventory, we have people. And we need high quality people. And we know in this area, there's high quality people because I've been living here for a while and I know these people. And where do these people go? Well, they go to Los Angeles, they go to San Diego, to work.
San Jose, yeah.
So exactly. One of our associates now, he had to travel every week to San Jose by plane every day, every week for 5 days a week, and he has a family. Okay.
Just because of its proximity to Silicon Valley and all the development that's going on there, and always has.
And exactly. And what is the point here? The point is that when you need all these people to stay in your area because you want to tap into the market of employment of high-skilled workers. But of course, my company cannot hire everybody, and not all the companies can hire everybody. Right. So what you need is more companies. Right? I mean, that's the step of having more jobs is having more companies that hire those people. And a medium to long-term plan is to help those companies exist and develop them. And because we do software, the easiest way to do that is doing an incubator for software. And it happened that the Murrieta city was doing similar things with the healthcare technologies. So we partner up. We clicked right there. So that's what I like the most of Murrieta on the third day. We clicked right there, and that was a year ago. Today, you have the Murrieta Innovation Center for Healthcare Technologies and Medical Devices, which I am part of the international board of the Murrieta Innovation Center because of my South Murrieta accent. And I'm on the board of CoHive. I'm the project leader of CoHive, which is whatever it's not healthcare technologies, but it's still technology, they're going to bounce it back to the co-hive, and that's what we're going to do. And we're bringing companies from Chile, we're bringing companies from Italy, because that's my background, that's where that's where I lived, that's where I studied, that's the connections that I have.
So really, and what you're illustrating is you're illustrating the fact that the city gave you the tools and other resources, human capital also, provided that to help you succeed, and they're very encouraging for continued growth and development, and they are encouraging and fostering an atmosphere or an environment of collaboration so that you can all come together and all work toward the common goal.
And discuss just like we're discussing. And if somebody picks the idea and somebody has the same needs or has a complementary value, they just add it to the table.
It must be kind of exciting to be kind of part of that, because it really is kind of a groundswell of excitement there, I think, as far as that goes in the tech space, and certainly with respect to IT and software, something you're involved in. Do you see this as kind of becoming maybe the opportunity for other companies to join in it, and maybe Silicon Valley South, as it were? Maybe not necessarily on the grand scale, but does the city have what you believe are kind of the necessary requirements to develop that kind of groundswell of interest in new tech startups?
Fortunately, to answer that question, I don't have to say that I believe in it, which I do, but we have the numbers. There are several tech companies that have grown, were born, grown, and sold successfully in Murrieta. We have several human capital that are very good in software development, and the bottom line is yes. I mean, this city, it's not a 9-to-5 city, Monday through Friday. This city is a 24-hour, round the clock, round the week, around the month, around the year. And that makes it easy to do whatever you need to do. If you have the idea, then you just worry about the idea. And then the city provides everything else together with the private sector to provide all of the other things, because doing a product is just 25% of it. Then you have to sell it, then you have to maintain it, then you have to support it, then you have to do other stuff. But when that environment, that ecosystem is built around you, then it makes it easier as a solopreneur or a solo entrepreneur to take your product to the market. And that is happening in Murrieta, has happened, and the infrastructure is there. The difference between the city that we live now and Santa Monica, Los Angeles, San Jose, is that if you're an entrepreneur and you get funding, or you have your own funding, and need to have operation expenses, if those operation expenses eat your product development expenses or your client support expenses, then your product is not going to be that good. And then your chance of succeeding are not going to be that high. In Murrieta, the cost of operation is so low, still providing infrastructure enough to develop, and more than enough, to develop a product. Then you have the ecosystem that you need at a low cost with high level of infrastructure to do business, especially in the IT area. One of the examples of infrastructure, first of all, is the cost of office space, which in particular for healthcare technologies and software development, we try to keep those costs absolutely ridiculously down so that the entrepreneurs are focused in putting that money where it has to be, in the product development and later on in marketing. The second is internet. We have one of the fastest internet around. Our office is able to provide over 300 megabits per second, which is like providing the Bugatti of internet, okay? The third thing is housing. With 2,500, you might as well get I think in meters, not in feet, but I would say a 10 by 10, not even 10 by 10, I would think 5 by 5 square meter in Santa Monica. Whereas with 2,500, you would get a very nice big house, and if you have a family, that's what you need, because most entrepreneurs already have a family by then. So we're able to provide all that infrastructure at a low cost with the same facilities, near to the ocean, near to the Big Bear if you want to go skiing, near to San Diego, near to Los Angeles, near 3 airports. I travel not as much as other people, but more than
More than the average business person.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there. I probably,
No, that's okay, because in this day and age, people still travel, and even though we'd like to think that we live in kind of a society that doesn't commute quite as much because there's so many people working from home. But the point is that there is the support by the city for businesses, and particularly those businesses that are interested in starting in Murrieta. So for business advantages, cost savings, also the lifestyle benefits that the city has, it's really just it's the complete package. Where do you see yourself, David, in another 5 to 10 years? I mean, where do you want to see your businesses go? I mean, we've always heard that, well, the idea is that I want to be successful and sell off my businesses and go to the next big thing. But I mean, is that you, or where do you see yourself?
One of the things I like about the company that I run, it's that for us and for all the people that have been working, some of them have been working together for the past 30 years. And even then, they've been able to keep up and leapfrog technologies very fast. And for them, it has been a project of life, a life project. And I just inherit that way of thinking of, for me, it's the same way. The way I see it, it's either we sell it or we don't. As long as the operation keeps growing and we keep all of our nucleus, our kernel of people that work with us, as long as they are fulfilled professionally and in their families, because in the end, not everybody works 24 hours around the clock, right? I don't have the luck yet to have a family. I'm planning to do, but that's down the road.
All in good time.
Yeah, and that's at least in the next 5 to 10 years. But everyone else that works with us has a family. And as long as we're able to provide them with expectations of quality of life, that's a good project that I would want to see. So if you tell me, what do you see in the next 5 to 10 years? Just keep it up, keep it growing, and make everybody that surrounds us better. So that's our way to make a better surrounding for their families, their friends, the city, and that's how I think you can do a good ripple effect of high quality life.
Imagine that a business leader with the idea to keep his people happy, and you can't go wrong with that in this day and age. It's really, really fantastic. It's a great attribute for you, a great personal attribute, and the city of Murrieta is lucky to have you. And David Bertolini, with that, we're going to have to go ahead and wrap it up right here, and I thank you so much for joining us here on California CEO. Good to see you. You bet.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have for this edition of California CEO. Thanks again to my guest, David Bertolini, COO of NOVOHIT and co-founder of hotelRSV. Also project leader of Cohive.Ninja, and he sits on the international board of InnovateMurrieta.org. For more information on his businesses, check out NovoHit.com and hotelRSV.com. If you'd like to join us here in studio to tell your business story or to talk about what your community is doing to grow business and economic opportunities in your area, visit us at CaliforniaCEO.net and complete the form on the Contact Us page, or simply give us a call at 951-697-3098 to let us know you'd like to tell your story. I'm Jeff Allen. Thanks again for watching California CEO. We'll see you again.
This program is brought to you by the following proud sponsors: the Alltech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns. And by the voice of your brand, engaging your audience, clients, and employees with a signature voice that is uniquely ageless and versatile, the perfect choice for practically any project. And by Paulson Manufacturing, saving the eyes and lives of workers and first responders by manufacturing the highest quality and most reliable safety protective gear in the world. And by StudioCast Pros, engaging your audience, elevating your brand, and enhancing your profits with professional quality e-learning, webcasts, and podcasts that stand out from the competition.